He has a 9-centimeter lesion on his liver. So today he has biopsy, next week he has a PET scan.
It's all science.
Afraid it's not cancer, but if it is, I'm afraid it's right through. But the odds of what people have been telling us are, if it is cancer, normally doesn't start. So chances are it's metastasized, so it's stage 1. So
I'll be thinking of it. That's really scary.
and we won't know obviously anything from this biopsy for 3 to 4 days. But my sister's there, she's an RN, so she goes to his appointments so that she's an extra set of ears to know
exactly what.
Yeah.
I have several.
Yeah.
Then it's after recommendations, thinking the words.
Well, we've been texting already because he had to be there at 7 this morning. My sister-in-law.
I'm going to interrupt you really quick. We're going to start here in just a minute. If you have your laptop and you want to go to your email, you should have been invited. If you signed up for the training, you should have been invited just a few moments ago for something called a Jamboard. Go ahead and open that Jamboard in a tab, and then you can keep doing whatever you want, but have that Jamboard open. If you did not receive the email or the invitation, let me know, and I will add you to that.
Is that the remote learning virtual board?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. Should. Yep. Perfect. You can go back to talking now. We'll start in a few minutes. That's what you were trying to achieve.
You didn't say like
Although
how do you edit a header?
edit a header of what? Depends on how you're training. You should be in the. You can either double tap or double click right at the top of the.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
So I put in a ticket for my laptop, but since I have my laptop with me most of the time, like, do I need to leave it?
No.
Like, how do I get it?
No, once we start, looking through them and stuff, we have been preparing for all this. I haven't seen it yet, but once we start going through them, we'll set up the time.
Still made my workspace. You made my life so much easier. Just double tap.
Oh.
That's so much easier. Every single time I do it.
I'm all about shortcuts.
I love it.
Anything I can do to get there quicker.
You are a legend. No matter what else happens today, you just keep saying that.
Thank you.
Keegan, which network should I be going on to here?
What was that, Kim?
Which network should I be going on?
Use the student network because the Securus has to be MAC addressed to the RSD. And then
I'm all moved out, I just got there.
And PARA, and then capital L, capital L.
But he has to wait for
And then
34 hours.
then
In
capital L,
recovery
yeah.
because
Then the
your
numbers
liver's
8,
very
3, and
vascular.
1.
So you have to make sure.
Yep, that should get you.
Rediscoverable.
No, since it's your personal one, I usually, for those, I don't.
Because we're shy. We go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
But that makes sense.
Or a VR, it's a recovery.
Oh, that's gonna be the worst part.
Real smooth there.
Especially when you're all together. But it's good though that they're
Yes.
keeping a close eye on it.
And then putting it in the grade.
Well, I probably will be emailing you guys either both about stuff if you need anything. Because I'm gonna go through that story about I don't need a lot of this stuff because I already have it. But like, you know, the stat focus for both, there's tons of those in there. There's tons of other places that you can put like hanging files and any of that stuff that you guys want. I will snap pics of them all.
Right.
Because I might revamp it. Well, I don't have a whole lot of time now, but I'd like to revamp my reads. Janelle has a lot of stuff. I mean, it was awesome when I first started, but now it's like kind of outdated.
Well, yeah, because like, yeah, a lot of the stuff that
It'll be
we
an
used to do
invitation
is
that
we
has to
use
be
because of how it's
specific to his email address.
So I just want to get something new.
There's like 3 boxes in Tori's Remote Focus Reading Series, which is, it's out of print. It was a
Are you
great
able to
series,
get in?
don't get me wrong, but it's out of print. Because we use Foxworks, I'd rather use that anyway. And I use Edinburgh, so I'm like, and I might not even need to use that one.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. It is 9:04.
I have one that's past due.
First of all, thank you for coming today. Appreciate you being here or those watching online. Makes the work Jason and I do more valuable when people are going to watch it. So for all the trainings this week, thank you. So today we're going to go just through about 6 or 7 different tools for remote learning. Basically, this is the structure we're going to look at today, going through Microsoft Whiteboard and Jamboard, Windows Game Bar, YouTube content channels, Screencast-O-Matic, IPEVO document camera, and Google Meets. With all of those, we're going to try to keep them to 10 minutes or less. I know, it's like a game. So here's why we've sent out that Jamboard that I shared with you. I'm going to go back to the computer here so I can show you. So what we're trying to do today is, because we have little snippets of 6 different or 7 different tools that are going to be, it's going to be a lot of information at once. You're probably going to have questions. But if everybody asks their questions at that time, we'll likely be here till 11 o'clock, which I don't know if you guys want to be here till 11. I mean, I'm working all day. But
No, we don't.
No. So what we've done is set up this Jamboard, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about, and I'll present on that in just a minute. But it's essentially a digital whiteboard. What I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have questions, you can see at the top of the Jamboard there are 6 different panels or 6 different frames. And in the top left corner of each frame there is a title. So take over on the left-hand side, you have a little sticky note icon. If you click that sticky note icon, you get a window that pops up. You can type in your question. You can make it a different color if you want. So, you know, what is Jamboard? Okay, don't ask obvious questions yet because I haven't explained it. But yes, so if you might say, what is Jamboard? You know, you post it, then you can exit or hit cancel out. You just drag that sticky note and drop it off wherever. You can see people like changing the colors of things. So, but just throw your questions on that, and what we're going to do is, I'm talking about the first 2 topics, and then Jason and I are going to flip back and forth. So while he's talking about the very last 2, I'm going to come in here and start looking at questions, and we will go over those questions at the end of today. But that way we're not stopping and pausing a whole lot, because we're going to try to get through it as quickly as we can and save your time. So with that being said, go back here to the presentation, and I'm going to jump down to Jamboard really quick, just so I can go explain that, because you will be using it. There we go. So Google Jamboard is a Google product. What Jamboard is they started out with the Whiteboard software, and then Google has created. What's up?
It's fuzzy.
Yeah, I don't know if I think that's.
Hey, Keegan, look. Is that better?
That's zooming in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still.
It's the cord. We need to replace that.
It was better than.
It's a Google product. It's essentially a whiteboard, and they have products you can buy called Jamboards. About $5,000. It's essentially a big TV that is a whiteboard. The reason I tell you that is we're going to talk about that in just a minute in a spot where it says send to my Jamboard. We aren't going to use that because we don't have Jamboards, the actual device itself. But the product is free to use, and you can share it like I've shared it with you. You can share it with students, share it with other teachers, and share it with essentially anybody as long as they have a Gmail account. When you're in Jamboard, very basic, very simple. But on the left-hand side, we have the pen icon where you can draw with a pen, a marker. You can highlight text, or you can use a paintbrush. Just a few different colors that are there. Down lower than that is the eraser, the arrow for just selecting objects. Again, the sticky notes, which you've already seen. Pictures, so for those that remember a little bit about the whiteboard, and we're going to talk about that, you can throw a picture in here. It could be a picture of a worksheet, it could be a picture of a sentence, a math problem, but you throw that picture in there and then you're able to edit over top of that, okay? So that's what that picture icon is for. It allows you to throw those pictures in there. The last one is kind of a neat icon if you're teaching from your laptop or from a desktop. Last one's a laser pointer. So you can click on the laser pointer. You can do this on the Jamboard that you're in, or that we have shared. You click the laser pointer and you click and drag, and it's like you're drawing a marker, but then when you're done, it kind of disappears, okay? So the idea is that you're able to draw attention to something, circle something, if you're teaching with it, but then it disappears. It's not going to keep that marker on the screen. Okay? Sticky notes, we talked about that. You can have fun with those, throw things in there. Oh, images, yeah, see, I tried to add nice, cool transitions, and I forgot to click through them as I was talking about that. But here's Google Images. As you can see, you can upload images. You can do Google image searches, take it from Drive, or take it straight from your Photos, the Google Photos app. So any way to get photos in there, you can. Up in the top left corner are your back and forth arrows, undo and redo, zooming in and out. And then another feature, the background feature, you can go ahead and click on that in one of the Jamboards. I would suggest not changing it right now because it's going to change it for everybody, but just clicking on it just to see.
Sorry.
If you do, just change it back to white. It's no big deal. But you can see there are different options. So you've got a dots or a matrix background, lined paper, graph paper, different color for graph paper, and then different colors as well. So again, it's a pretty basic tool. There's not a ton of features in it, but it's pretty easy to use, especially if you're trying to share something with students virtually and you want to be able to give them that whiteboard experience. At the top, we've kind of gone through this already as well, but you can toggle between frames. The other thing you can do is if you click on the middle boxes there where the frames are, it will drop down so you can see frames before you're switching. So you don't have to go, click back and forth. You can click that drop down and be able to switch between frames as well as add frames in. So think of a frame as, if you have a whiteboard in your classroom, a frame is just an extension of that whiteboard. So a frame is not a different whiteboard. Even though it looks like that on your computer, it's not a different whiteboard. It's all being saved as one project. Because up in the top right corner is where you can then rename that project just like you would a Google Doc or a slideshow or a sheet. You can download that project as a PDF, so it'll download those frames as PDF pages. You can save them as images. You can remove the project totally, obviously make a copy, and then updates at the bottom. The updates button, I was reading about that. Apparently, whenever people are writing, there are times when it gets bogged down in a classroom because there's more people in it. Hitting that update button should essentially refresh your computer to pull in new information. Because I was thinking, I was like, Google updates automatically. I don't know why you would need to update. So that's what I was reading online. So, and I say that too, just to make a quick note. Jason and I are learning this with you. We're learning it ahead of you, but then trying to teach it. So if there's things you find that you're like, oh, this can do this, and you think it's really cool and really useful, share it out with either everybody or share it with us, and we can post it in those Google Classrooms for other people to have access to. The last part is in the top right corner. You see a spot that says Open on a Jamboard. That's what I was talking about earlier. We're not going to use that because a Jamboard is, again, a 55-inch screen. That's a whiteboard. And as much as it'd be great to have those, we don't. So that's what that allows you to do, is allows you to send that to a Jamboard. So I just wanted you to know. So if you click on it and say, it's not working, I can't find anything, that's why. Oops, I got to go back because I switched to flip-flop. All right. The other piece that I'm going to talk about in this little 10-minute chunk is Microsoft Whiteboard. If you've been to the laptop training, we experienced a little bit of that. I'm going to go over a few of those things and then also just dive a little bit deeper into the whiteboard settings. In the top right corner of your whiteboard, and if you have your laptop, go ahead, you can open up Whiteboard, follow along. Well, if you don't recall, Whiteboard is in, and even I think on like a Windows machine, Whiteboard is in the bottom right corner with the little pen icon. You can open up your Whiteboard that way. Once you are in Whiteboard, in the top right corner is where you'll have your different options, really, for your whiteboard. First one is adding people. So you can add, just like on Google, you can add teachers. You can add students. I'm going to suggest that if you are going to use something with students, you use Google Jamboard. The reason why is students have a Microsoft account set up, but they have not been trained at all on how to get into them. If that's something you're interested in and you want to train your class, let Jason or I know, and we can come and help you with that, help train your students. But at this point, they don't know. They know they have a Microsoft account through the school, but they don't really know a lot about it. So that's really, this feature is where it's going to be best for teachers if you're sharing with other staff. Just tells you who you are, and then the next one is the settings icon. When you click on that settings icon, you get your settings window that opens up. You have active pen, ink to shape, ink to table. So this first little section is turning things or manipulating how your whiteboard is going to work. So the first part's how it's going to work. The second one is messing with how you're going to export or push out that image. The last one is actually messing with the settings of the whiteboard. Not how it's working, but just the settings of the whiteboard. So the main two that I want to highlight are ink to shape. We talked a little bit about this in some of the trainings, but some of it I didn't learn until later trainings. So you can see in this example here, when you have ink to shape turned on, if you notice whenever I would draw a triangle, it wasn't a very perfect triangle, but once I let it go, or the square, it automatically adapts that to make it its best picture. There are times it doesn't work because if you don't connect it just right, it won't snap. So it takes a little bit of practice, but it is a way to quickly get shapes that look nice on your whiteboard. The other one is ink to table. What ink to table does, and we'll let this play out a little bit because it already started playing. The ink to table allows you to draw a table on your whiteboard, and again, just like the shapes, it's going to snap those lines together and allow you to split them up into columns and rows, and then enter text. You can see right now what I'm doing is entering text into those tables. But here we go, we start making the table. So I'm drawing a big square, just like you would, making a big table. Splitting it with a line for rows, and then splitting it into 3 columns. You notice that I just drew a line kind of down. It didn't have to be right on the line. It split up. And then as I wrote stuff in there, or if you use the typing tool, you can put stuff in those boxes. Again, I'm not thinking of this as a way that you're going to actually chart a whole bunch of data, but if you're explaining something really quick to students, it's a quick way to get a chart on the on your whiteboard, your digital whiteboard, just like you would in the classroom. The last one that I want to talk about with this is format background. And again, just kind of like in Jamboard, we were looking at the background options. You can do that in Whiteboard as well. Adding matrix, adding graph paper, there's line paper, there's more scrolling and changing the color. So you can do that in there as well. Again, I think these are going to be really good teaching tools for the things that you need to show a video for. That might mean to virtual students, or that might mean you record a lesson, or even do a lesson live with students, but record it while you're doing it. Recording this lesson on a digital whiteboard so that you can share that both with virtual and with in-class students that are face-to-face. And, oh yeah, the last piece of the whiteboard. If you are in Whiteboard, you can click, there's a back arrow in the top left corner that will jump you back out to your different whiteboards. In those whiteboards, once you're out there, a handy feature that I was kind of exploring with is you have the three little dots, which are typically kind of a settings or an action button for anything in Google, or excuse me, anything in Whiteboard. In those three dots, you can rename the whiteboard, delete it, invite people, but this export tool was one that I really liked, and that allows you to export your whiteboard as an image or as a PDF, so that if you did do something in class, but then you want to share that out to your Google Classroom, but you really don't want the whiteboard being out there, just export it as a PDF and share that out. Or Seesaw. I said Google Classroom, but Seesaw or Google Classroom. So there's a way for you to export those images right out of the whiteboard. So that you can share those easily. So with that, I am going to move on quickly to Windows Game Bar. Now, if you went through any of the training in the Google Classroom that was online, Game Bar is pretty basic. The reason I like Game Bar is because it is basic and it's quick. So we're going to talk about Screencast-O-Matic later, which allows you to do much more with screen recordings. But if you just need to record, for instance, the images that I did where I was drawing the shapes, they're little GIF, they're called GIF files, but they're basically a moving image. So it's a movie, but it's an image file. I did that with Game Bar. So if you need to create little things like that, it's a quick way to do that. Game Bar is built into Windows 10. And I did not check earlier this morning. Last night I had trouble getting it to pop up because I may have changed a policy. So if it doesn't pop up on yours, then it's probably my fault. So I'll get that fixed. But when you open Game Bar, and you can open it, a shortcut is to press the Windows key and the G key. Let me open my laptop just to see if I can. Oh, and I apologize. You do have to be in an application. That's the other thing. With Game Bar, you cannot be just on the desktop. You have to be in an application that you want to record in order to launch Game Bar. For instance, Whiteboard was one of the examples. Yeah, see, mine's not pop. Oh no, there it did pop up. So it might have just been because I changed my policy.
What pops up is the capture and the one across the top. I did the other one.
Say that again.
I only have your top left box and your tiny rectangle across the top.
Right here.
Yeah.
These screens can be added back in by, I think if you click these little lines, it allows you to add more of the menus back. But a lot of these you probably won't need, like the performance one. So Game Bar is what it is. It was meant for recording people gaming, okay? You've got kids or grandkids that do the YouTube gaming, you know, they watch people gaming online. That's kind of what Game Bar does. That being said, it can record videos. So this performance is really just, how's your laptop doing and are you peak performance? So some of those you can exit out. The next one, though, is the audio, and that's the one that you're probably going to want. Did that work, Sheila? Yeah. Okay. So in Game Bar, again, really basic. Your capture options are at the top. You've got your microphone to make sure you turn that on or off. If you don't want the microphone, like in the videos I did not want my microphone running. So turn that on and off, and then you've got a little dot inside of a bigger button, and that's the record button. So as soon as you hit that, it's going to do a countdown in the background, and it'll flip on to your regular screen. The grayed out screen will go away, and then it's recording. While you're recording, you have this little tiny box that pops up somewhere on your screen. Usually it's up to the right. It tells you how long your recording is going, allows you to mute or unmute yourself while you're recording, and then stop your recording. Once you stop your recording, it saves it to your pictures or videos file in the captures section, which I think that is in the Google Classroom. It explains how to get those. But it saves it right there as an image ready to go. So it's, like I said, a really basic way and quick way to capture a video or capture content for what you need. So with that, I'm going to hand off.
Okay, everybody breathe. Breathe.
I know, there's a lot of stuff at once.
There's a lot of apps that we're going to throw at you. And basically, which of the apps that Keegan just mentioned do you need to familiarize yourself with and use? All of them. They are all competitive products of each other, but the reality is each one offers features that are going to be beneficial for you in your classroom. Let's, for example, we'll just recap on Whiteboard and Jamboard. First, Whiteboard is useful for you for setting up a direct instruction where you want to take screen captures and create things to explain the lesson itself. And then you provide that out through images or shares in your classroom, or Seesaw. So what's Jamboard? Jamboard is the same concept, the same principle of having a whiteboard, but Jamboard is interactive, where you are inviting your class in with you to jam, like a jam session. What I like about Jamboard is exactly what Keegan said. It's a collaborative nature through and associated with your student's Google account. It's secure, it meets all the requirements of the district, but it's also collaborative. It's like a collaborative whiteboard. So Whiteboard has its place in your preparation of instruction, but Jamboard can be an extension of that conversation in a live collaborative nature. So they both have their features. So learn them both. They both complement each other, but also are competitive to each other. Gameboard. Gameboard, that's a Microsoft Xbox product that was brought into Windows. The reality is it's streaming. It's gamer streaming. The top 9 gamers right now are under the age of 25. They're averaging $11,000 a month in streaming gamership. So basically, they're being paid $11,000 a month for other children around the world to watch them play video games. That's where it came from. But the reality is, it's a very valuable structure for us as educators. I'm going to be discussing later on your use of IPVO for recording instruction. So if I can use my IPVO to record, why would I use Gameboard? 2 different reasons. The first reason is, Keegan already mentioned, during recording, you can mute and unmute yourself. You cannot do that in IPVO. Second, and more importantly, Gameboard allows you to capture an application that is in use. Your IPVO is a document image camera. It's just going to capture whatever's laying on the table. It's a concept thing. One you're using to capture something in the physical world you're working in. The other is to capture something that is on the screen that you're working in. It's 2 different concepts, but they're kind of the same, and they do complement each other. So which one of those should you use? Both of them, but for different reasons. We're here. This department has established itself and looks forward to servicing you. The more you reach out to us and ask us for help, especially me in my new position, that compliments me. It complements what I'm trying to do, and it complements the strength of what we're trying to provide for our students, not just during this crappy time, but into the future, to change the mindset and philosophy of how we deliver instruction in this district. So if anything good can come out of this, it's this collaborative nature. And let us help you. YouTube. Discussing YouTube. I always forget which direction it goes. Okay, so discussing YouTube. YouTube, we all do it. We've all went out to YouTube, Look for instructional videos that can better exemplify and say what we are trying to say. Why? So I don't have to sit in front of Jamboard and do it, or I don't have to record it using the Jamboard application. If somebody's already done it and it's better than I could do, I want to use that one. That's what YouTube does. But we all go out to YouTube. We don't sign in. We don't sync our account. I created my channel 2 days ago. I've been using YouTube since before Keegan was born. And I created a channel 2 days ago. I never needed a channel. So I had a conversation over Subway with Keegan on our millionth late night. And what month is it? And he just said, how do you not have a channel? And I was like, you whipper. He showed me, and I'm like, why don't I have a channel? So I have liked, in the course of my instruction, just in the 5 years that I've been doing the technology and art K6, 190 videos of instruction that I've liked for purposes of instruction in my classroom. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It just like dumps them in a folder, kind of like making bookmarks of web pages. I'm not going to show you my bookmarks. It's a work in progress, but you know what I'm talking about. So what is the YouTube? By creating a channel, it creates a place where you can manage the content you're sharing. It makes it easier when you're trying to provide that content out to Google Classroom or Seesaw. It saves your sanity. And that's what I'm going to talk about. These are introductions to these applications. They're not going to go, they're not superficial. They kind of take some jabs at the apps, right? But we can't overwhelm you.
I can learn to understand you.
Well, I needed her to finish. How do I know how she's going to learn to understand me? So let's take a look at YouTube. Just what I said. It allows for the categorical listing of all the information of videos you're providing. And then I'm going to show you briefly how to manage that. Now, when I say manage, I'm going to just get right to it. If you're a self-contained classroom, I want to show you a mindset of creating your YouTube channel that categorizes math videos, social studies videos, science videos. Why? Because when I was going to my YouTube, right, I would have to filter through 190 liked videos going, what was that one called again? And then give up and not use it. Not anymore. So the first thing, you can do this along with me if you've never created a channel. Maybe you're excited, like, let's do this. I don't know. You go into Chrome. Most of you have already synced your account, right? If you have not synced your Google account with Google Chrome, basically what you get is you get like your profile picture. It's like a U. And if you've synced with Chrome, it's like a mini U, like a mini me. In the upper right corner of your Chrome browser, you should see 2 pictures of your profiles. If you've never set a profile picture, you'll see 2 circles with the first letter of your first name in it.
So which one do we put? The big one, that one, or
The little one.
the one?
Or the one, the Google account. The little one,
No.
the little profile is just telling you that you're synced with Google Chrome. The bigger one is your profile.
Okay, so we click on that picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
And that's going to bring this menu up. Okay?
Okay.
So, no, because the first thing you need to do, if you read this, it says, first, you can use my laptop if you want.
No, I don't know why. I spooked.
Sabotaging.
Right.
Right there. Yep.
All right, so we go to Google or YouTube first.
Yeah. Go to youtube.com. If you're logged into your Google account, when you go to youtube.com on the left-hand side, it's going to be the YouTube you've always known. It's got your library, your subscriptions. So why have a YouTube channel if all of that's on the left? I had subscriptions, but you can manage the subscriptions. I had liked videos, but I can manage the liked videos now, as opposed to just sort of dumping them into my Google account, like we do bookmarks into our browser.
And then I jump through.
Oh, yeah. Or an alarming number of scissors into your junk drawer in the kitchen. So, now you'll notice, if you've never done this, it says create channel. So I took these screenshots 2 days ago because I never created a channel. Once you create a channel, I'll show you what it says then.
What if it doesn't say create one, it says your channel, does that mean I did it?
If it says your channel, it means you've done it before. How exciting is that?
Scary, actually, because I don't remember this stuff.
Well, that's scary for a different reason, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is, but I-
Okay, if you click your you create a channel, your journey begins here. I think this is weird. It actually says your creator journey begins. You're going to click Get Started, and then you're going to select your user. Okay? I'm just going to go right along with you. Next, you do not have to do this now. You can go back and do it later, just like if you've never, you change your profile picture or manage your Google account. You can go back and do all this later, but I would recommend this because your viewers are going to have access to this information, and some of it is just that, informational. You're going to want them to have access. For example, not just your profile picture, but a brief description of how your intent for creating this channel is, and maybe a brief description of how you suggest your viewers view it. They're going to see. They're going to see that, like a description of your Google Classroom, if you haven't done that, or your description of your Seesaw, if you haven't done that. But also, this is actually one page that's scrollable. This is at the top. When this screen comes up, this is at the top, and then it scrolls down. I just had to cut it into two to make it fit. Over here, you have a website. You add the URL. You can actually add the URL to your school, your campus suite, if you wanted. Or maybe you have a Weebly site. It's just another place where they could access information. You could put a link to the Google Classroom in here. I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
We could put a link to Clever.
Or just to Clever in here. Okay. And then again, you have the typical social networking type links. Now notice I did make a point to this, that you can put this information in now, but you can do this later. Notice you can set it up later.
Can you edit it?
Yes.
And
Yes.
you could do that, because since I haven't had a channel since 2013, so
We're gonna get to where to do that in a second. Okay.
Do we need to approve this for
We're gonna get to that in a second. Okay. So in a second, look, here's a second later. Okay, so here's the important part. Okay. You need to approve the channel for use by viewers on the district network. Let me say this clearly. If a student is in this school and on our Wi-Fi, on a Chromebook, or BYOD, or a desktop in a lab, if they're on the school's Wi-Fi, we limit and restrict their access to YouTube. So in order for them to see your channel, you must approve it. And again, I took the screenshot 2 days ago because I had not approved it. I just created it. So you must approve your channel. Now what I'm testing is this. Many of you have added YouTube videos to your classrooms, or maybe you're getting into it with your Seesaw. And what you have found is this. If you've ever experienced this, I have in a lab. You tell the kids to, hey, just click on this YouTube video and there's instructions of what to do, and they'll click it and they go, I can't see it. And you're clicking on it going, I'm watching it fine. What's your problem, kid? It's not their problem. As teachers, you have unrestricted access to YouTube. Students don't. How many have found that if you go to a YouTube video that you really like it, add it to your junk drawer, that you had to click approve before your students, approved for the ithacaschools.net, before your students could view it. What I'm testing is this. I'm testing if I approve my channel, and I like a video to my channel, does it automatically approve it for my viewers? I haven't worked that out yet. Because that would just save a step. All I'm saying is if you find the video, right, approve it. But I'm trying to figure out if I can just cut out a step or not. I don't know. I'm learning with you, just like Keegan said. Now, notice once you click approve, Sheila, it now does not say create channel, it says your channel. That's the difference. Okay? So, well, here's the clicker.
Oh, no.
No, so That's the big thing. My focus today is to activate the channel and to approve it. All the little fine details of what that channel looks like is yet to be discovered by you. Be patient with yourself. I'm still learning. It's quick. It's intuitive, but I know that I'm kind of wired for nerdy stuff. I get it. But to me, everything I've ever learned about Windows, Google, the internet, it all comes back to a filing cabinet.
So if you like it, it goes into this file.
Correct.
If you
Now,
just
here's the
like
thing. If you like it, you open the door to your file cabinet and you go, slam.
Does it do it automatically? Or
No.
Okay.
So what we're going to try to do is very carefully open that drawer and say, where do I want to put it?
Okay.
That's what we're going to try to do today.
All right.
Okay? So, the next step is this. How to quickly add content to your channel. Quickly. It's not that bad. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a video. Find a video that's watchable by ithacaschools.net. You ever notice? This says it's watchable. That means that the iBoss filter is like, hey, this one's good. But if you go to a video and it's not, it says not approved by ithacalschools.net. What's over here on the right if that happens? Have you ever seen it? It's a little blue button. What does it say? Approve. You have the right to approve it. Okay? Amy, have you seen that? You're nodding your head? Yeah. Okay, so that's still there. This one just happens to be approved. Now, down at the bottom, we've all done this. We've clicked the share link. The share link gives that tiny URL, right, that we'd post in our Google Classroom. So we'd click approve over here, and then we'd say, that's proper grammar. So we would say, share it, take that tiny URL, and paste it into our Google Classroom. What I'm going to suggest, continue to do that. Please understand, if that works for you, continue to do that. YouTube channel and managing your channel is no different than if I was standing up here giving you a lesson on how to manage your Google Drive. Your Google Drive is a great place that you've stored things for years. I now have over 10,000 things in my Google Drive, right? And sometimes the thing I need the most, I can't remember where the hell I put it. And it's driving me insane. So I'm slowly managing my Google Drive. That's what I'm hoping this does for me. I have all these great videos that I've collected over the years. I've collected all these videos over the years. I need to start organizing them so they enhance my instruction, tune my thinking, and let me get on with my day. Because there's good stuff out there, you know that. So you're going to click, in this case, instead of just share, I'm going to click save. When you click save, this comes up. It says, where do you want to save it? Well, you can just save it to watch later. Maybe you find a video during your prep time or during lunch. You're like, I want to watch this whole one. It's 14 minutes. I don't have time. If you click on watch later, it just puts it in your watch later list. But if you say create a new playlist, it's going to bring this up. And you can enter the playlist name, and then you have to choose the privacies. So I also included that over here. Like a little, this screen and this screen are the same. I just dropped this down right here. I should have put the arrow over there. Now, public. Anyone can search for and view it. Unlisted. Anyone with the link can view it. Or, of course, private. Only you can view it. What does this mean? If you make a video that you like, that you want to watch later, right? If you make it private, when they go out to your YouTube channel and they're looking at all your listed videos that are categorically listed, that one won't show up. So it's a way for you to sort of put something out there for you to reference on your YouTube channel, but you don't necessarily want the parents or the teachers or the students to see it.
So enter playlist name is like the file folder, so for like how-to videos.
Correct.
Or
Correct.
if I want it specifically Algebra 2 functions.
Correct. I'm thinking more like the Algebra 2. I'm thinking of like as a self-contained classroom, I'm thinking like social studies, mathematics, science, and then listing the, yeah. This is not the only place. What if I create a playlist name and I misspell it? Everything on this channel is yours. And we're going to get into now how to manage that content. So you've created this stuff. How do I get into and manage it even more? Now that you've approved the channel, you can go back and you can choose to customize the channel. It's your channel. What's that?
How do you get back to your channel if you lost it? If
Um,
you clicked on a video and you don't even know if you're really in your own channel.
Right here. If you click right on this little icon, the menu drops down and you choose your channel. Does that take you? Okay, thank you. So, yeah, I was gonna make no, I was gonna take a bigger screenshot of this, but I thought, no, that's all because that's all they'll need. In my mind, I see this. It tells me where to look, but I took that for granted. I apologize for that. So yeah, so customize your channel. Now, this is what I'm saying. See where it says add a section? If you created a playlist, it'll show up in your playlist, but I'm talking about adding a section. Adding a section is that Algebra 1, Algebra 2, right? It's creating sections so that when your viewers go out to your channel, this is what they're going to see. You can even add channel art. You can change your profile picture. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like the Google Classroom layout. Remember, YouTube is owned by Google. That's why they complement each other so well, because that's what you get when you pay a lot of money. $87 billion. They bought YouTube. I wonder if it was one of those big checks. So, add a section.
How is that different, section different than what it was earlier?
A playlist is just a way that you can create a playlist of things that are like, maybe you subscribe to a channel and it has like 36 videos in that channel. You create a playlist of that channel. Now, the section, whoops, sorry.
So I did that wrong. I should.
The section is where you can put playlists in. You can put a single video in a section, or you could put an entire playlist in the section. And again, with a playlist, unlike if you add a section, everybody that views your channel is going to see that section.
I have one comment, just jumping back real quick, because you might encounter this if you're playing with it, which I didn't know. If a video is made for kids on YouTube, you cannot add it to playlists. So the reasoning is because they don't want you adding it to your playlist and then people called trolls going in and typing bad things. Even though we have it off for students, it's just a YouTube restriction. So that is something I wasn't aware of.
I was not aware of that.
But just so you know, if you're trying it, you're like, this isn't working, it's grayed out. If it's indicated that the creator made it made for kids, you cannot add it to playlists. So you know.
So again, it feels very superficial what I just presented to you, but it's got layers to it. It's got little things that you're going to have to dive into. That's going to cause or bring up questions. Go back out to the Jamboard and post them. We'll come back to them. Okay? Maybe you get a question not today. Okay. Put in a ticket or send us an email. I'm gonna put this out there, Keegan. Within reason, on most issues, you will have an answer within 24 hours. Okay? Are there any questions on this? Post them to Jamboard. We'll loop back toward the end of the presentation. With that, you're...
Thank you. All right. Screencast-O-Matic. Aside from having a fun name, it is a fun application. So we're going to flip gears here real quick. Switching over to this, if you have not yet, in your email yesterday, you should have received an email with an invitation to Screencast-O-Matic Premier, which is the subscription we have. You'll want to go in and accept that invitation if you have not yet. Once you've accepted it, getting to Screencast-O-Matic is done either through the app or through your web portal, which is just Screencast-O-Matic.com. You can Google search it. And then when you get to the main page, you click Login. And once you've created your account through the invitation, it has to be done first. Once you've done that, though, you can sign in with Google, and it will take you into your account. So you can sign in with your school email account.
Even what if we did not get an invite to that? I don't find it here anymore.
I'll have to resend it. So I'll look and see. So it may be buried, or I'll look and see though. If it's something we can add. In Screencast-O-Matic, once you're logged in, you should be at a main screen that up in the top right corner, on the left-hand side, you got some menu bars. That's how you can organize your content. But up in the top right corner is where your launching tools are. And so from there, you can launch taking a screenshot, which I'm going to suggest you just use the Windows screenshots, but you can take screenshots, you can quickly launch videos, and then from there you can launch your video editor. There is this switch to original view thing. Eventually they're just going to keep you in the new view. So I don't know if you want to switch to the original, that's fine, but keep in mind it'll probably go away at some point. So wait, just really quick here, see. Yep, you probably already accepted it, so Kim.
Oh.
Is either, I just forwarded it to him, so.
You just need to go to Screencast-O-Matic.com and log in using your email.
That's just me, so scroll down, accept the invitation.
So in order to get it installed on your computer, what you need to do is launch. So go ahead and launch using the little video camera icon. Launch the recorder. Down in the bottom, it's going to say launching recorder. Click OK or click allow or OK if prompted. If this is your first time logging in, or you're not logging in, if this is your first time ever launching that recorder, nothing's going to happen. It's going to sit there and say launching, launching, launching. After about 10 or 15 seconds, it'll pop up or it'll change at the very bottom of your screen. It'll say download if nothing prompts from the browser. Go ahead and click that download button. Once it downloads, just like any other download, it'll pop up in the bottom menu bar or bottom download bar. Open it up, install it, launch it. Once it launches, and I'll wait just a few minutes, but I just want you to know, once it launches, you will get a window like this pop up on your screen. Okay?
We only have to do this once.
Correct. So the downloading and installing only happens once per computer. So if you do this on your desktop in your classroom, you have to do the same thing. But just once. Now really quickly, if you're in an application, minimize and go back to your desktop, or you can use your 3 fingers and pull down on your trackpad if you're using the newer laptop. You should now see an icon on your desktop that says Screencast-O-Matic.
On the desktop.
Yeah, the desktop.
When they first go out, remember they gotta go next.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You get that little tool
She's
thing,
doing
don't you?
I can't get to the.
Okay, excuse me.
Okay, I'm gonna let him take over.
I'm gonna I did this, he did it on the desktop, I did it on my laptop. Some of you might be experiencing something that's very annoying. Basically, you went in, you logged into, I'm sorry for the interruption.
No,
you log into
that's
Screencast-O-Matic, and it's gonna go, let's go on a tour of the darn thing. So you click next, you get down to the trash, and you can't click on it. And then you're like, and then you touch the screen, and it starts it all over. Okay, in the upper right-hand corner,
I'll show him.
you have the 3 lines. Upper right-hand corner, 3 lines.
Dots or lines?
Shrink the 3 lines. I tried to do this. The three.
It's called a hamburger.
The hamburger?
Yep.
In the upper right hand corner, you have the hamburger. Shrink your browser down.
So if you look up on the screen, I'm gonna follow along with what he's saying.
Yep, so it's
Oh,
three
that's
dots
the-
here.
That's the snowman.
Oh, come on.
The lines are the hamburgers.
Drop it down, and you're gonna zoom out, maybe 80%, right? Now you'll notice when it shrinks down, go through the next. When it gets to the trash can, you can click next.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying,
Did that work?
although I didn't experience it.
And then once you've done that, go back and make it 100% again. I forgot about that, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
no.
told me to remind you and I completely forgot.
Yeah, so then once you're done, like he's saying, you can go back to that zoom and you can click, oops, not full screen.
That's full screen.
I thought it was plus.
Escape.
There we go. Click and go back to your
Thank you.
100%. That was just so more normal.
Nobody's raising their hand, so we're all good?
Is it supposed to look like this?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It just looks
Yes.
like it seems to.
Yes. We're good?
So now,
Okay.
if you have gone through that, you can, I'll go back just a moment here. You can click on that little camera icon, wait till it asks you to download, and then download from the browser. Once it downloads, launch it, open it, you should then get a screen very similar to this. And the application is now installed on your computer. Now, while that's happening, and I'm gonna jump ahead, or not jump ahead, I'm just gonna walk you through what the main screen looks like or what the purpose of. Screencast-O-Matic, unlike Gamebar, allows you to capture everything you do on your computer. Gamebar is limited to one application, so Whiteboard. You can do Gamebar and Whiteboard. You cannot do Gamebar on your desktop of your computer, like on the literal desktop, not the desktop in your classroom. Does that make sense what I'm saying? The desktop background where your icons, you can't record that with Gamebar. So it limits you with that. Again, it's a really quick way to record something, but there are likely going to be times you're going to want to be switching between applications. You're going to be wanting to be demonstrating something. Screencast-O-Matic is going to be way more feature-rich with what you want to do. That being said, the setup is pretty simplistic. When it opens up, it brings up this little dotted line window. You can drag and shrink it however you want to fit over the content that you are going to record. You can also, right here where it says size, you can click that size and change it to full screen if you want to capture everything on your screen. And you can change it to other technical sizes. So 720p, I think, is what it automatically comes to. 480, I think, is another one. Those are just pre-input sizes that are kind of the technical sizes, but you can drag it and make it however small or large you want. The other thing is, you'll notice in the max time there's a none. Okay, that's part of the Premiere feature, is that we don't have any limits to the time that you can record. So Gamebar, you don't have a time limit either. However, again, if you're going to be recording a lesson that's 30 minutes long or 40 minutes long, likely you're not going to be in one application the entire time. So that's why this is going to be more feature-rich and powerful. Next, down below the size is your narration. That allows you to turn your microphone on or off, or select which microphone you're using. If you happen to have, some people I know like to put the headset on because then their family can't hear while they're talking, and that's fine. You can plug a headset in, change your microphone right in that narration option of which microphone you want to use. The last one's the computer audio, and by clicking that, I think you might have to enable something. It'll pop up. It walks you through. But that allows you to actually record the audio your computer is outputting. For instance, if I am doing a lesson and I'm explaining something, and I might have a short little video clip, okay? I wouldn't suggest this to be a regular thing, but maybe it's a quick video clip of how to do something, kind of like I had with the triangles, but maybe there's sound coming out of it. That allows you to record that audio that comes out of your computer, so that you're able to capture that in your video as well. And then down at the bottom, you get preferences where you can change a few other things. Up at the very top is where you can choose what type of screen or what type of recording you want. First one is a screen recording, which is just going to be your screen, whatever's on your screen. Next is webcam, which is webcam only, so it's only going to record what your webcam is seeing. And the last one is a both option. I don't think I've got a picture of that, no. But what the both option does, and if you're in there, go ahead and click it. What it's going to do is it's going to pop up, show you your camera. You can click the buttons to accept or whatever. But then your camera is going to be there, but it's going to be kind of grayed out on the screen. You can move. It's called picture-in-picture. So if you want to be able to have your students see your face, which I know a lot of us are like, I don't want to be recorded. But there are times it's important for them to see you while you're teaching something, right? You can put your picture-in-picture in a corner while your screen is also being recorded. So you might be doing something on a whiteboard and explaining it as you do it. So they're seeing the whiteboard, but they're also seeing your face in the recording as well. So that is what that the both option allows you to do, is do that picture-in-picture option. Huh?
If I get out of it, every time I open it, it makes me sick. How do you shut it off?
So you just go back to the screen where up the top you choose. So if you're in there and you're like, I don't want the camera open anymore, you just have to switch it back over just to screen.
How do you get? It's
Keegan, I have a question.
How do you get
Yeah.
If I get out of it and then I go back into it, it keeps making me save it. So like if I click on that, it'll make me save it. You know what I'm saying?
No, go ahead and just cancel. And then go to your desktop. There you go. And you should have an icon right there. You should be able to open it from there as well. You got it back in? Oh, so click. So what Sheila's got, and this is good for everybody to know, if you've exited out or somehow minimized this part, so you still have the checkered line, the little gear icon is what brings this menu back up. So you can bring this menu up or take it away.
Let's take away.
The other thing is it has the little pen icon in the bottom. That also allows you to put this box or frame over top of something, like a picture, similar to Whiteboard. Put it over a picture, put it over something. You click the pen, and then it's going to record in the video, record you writing over top of something. Again, when Jason and I, we've started this, we said you're going to get a lot of tools. You may never use that pen because you might be like, I'm going to do it in Whiteboard every time. That's fine. This is just really a way to give you multiple tools so that you can decide what's best for your classroom. Now, once you record, and if you want to go ahead and make a quick recording, you can. If you hit the red record button, it counts down, I think, from 3. It's kind of grayed out. It goes 3, 2, 1, and then it goes live. For anything within that box, if you've done it full screen, it's full screen. If anything within the box is going to be recorded. And to stop the recording, I believe it's down at the bottom left. There's a stop button. You can stop your recording, but unlike Game Bar, it really is just paused. So if you're talking about something and you get flubbed up or something, you can stop it, get back on track, and then start the recording again. It's going to pick up the recording from that point on. So Game Bar, once you stop it, it's done. It's captured that video. But in Screencast-O-Matic, you can stop and pause multiple times. Also, there's some concerns. If you do record in Classroom, you're like, well, what if I have to ask RTC questions in the middle? This tool, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, or this application is what you probably want to use, even if you're just recording the webcam of you teaching up front. Because once your video is done, there's a quick tool you press that's cut. It allows you to pick sections in your video that you cut. It automatically cuts them out, shrinks your video, and is ready to go. So it's a lot quicker than needing video editing software that actually is going to go through and cut out chunks.
But can this customer
I'll
Can this be opened with, used with Whiteboard?
Yes. Yep. So Screencast-O-Matic is an over-top application. So any application you want to open, you can open Whiteboard, Jamboard, Google Chrome,
So you would open
YouTube.
first and then, or how do you get them?
either. So this, while this is running, your background, your applications are still able to be clicked and worked in. It's kind of annoying because it's over top of it, so you likely wouldn't want to open it until you're ready, but you can still click on other things within stuff.
Is there a way to get the, so the video is like transparent over everything? Is there a way to?
It won't once you start recording.
Oh, it won't.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on really quick so we can jump on ahead. When you're done with a video, or when you stop recording and you click the little done button, it takes you to your video. You can then choose to save it as a file. You can upload it to Screencast-O-Matic, or you can upload it if you hit the edit button. Uh-oh, where did my other picture go? I bet I put it in the wrong spot. Or not, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. I'm thinking backwards. All right. If you hit the edit button, it allows you to edit the video before you save it. That's what I was messed up on. Hitting this edit button in the bottom of your little options window that pops up allows you to then go into what's called the video editor. In here, you can see your video. You see the timeline on the bottom of your video.
I apologize. Where did you get to this part?
Once you've created a video.
Oh, okay, so I think.
Yeah, so unless you've created a video, you won't get to this yet. So once you've created a video or recorded it, then you stop it, hit done, it takes you to this next screen. From there, if you click the edit, that's where you can get to the editor. In the editor, I believe the first option that it clicks is if you're going through, is where you can cut quickly. And I will, what I'll do is I'll pull it up on that computer back there just to walk through that real quick. But I'll just show you on these different things. You can see the cut tool is always there, because that's the one that gets used the most, is chopping stuff out. You hit cut, you drag a little red bar over the section you want to cut. You can do it in multiple places in your video. And then once you're done, it automatically cuts those out.
So do you have to have a red on each side and cut in between, or?
You can cut in little chunks.
But you have to.
You have to put the red over
So
the
it's between
over the
the two
section
reds.
you want to cut. Yep. There's also this tools icon. If you click the tools icon, you get all these tools that you can do on your videos. So if you're thinking ahead, or maybe recording something in your classroom and you said something wrong in the middle of the video. Have you ever watched the YouTube videos you're watching and then the person's speaking and then there's captions that pop up? I said that wrong, it actually was this, or something like that. You can do that in here by adding either narration. You can cut your audio out and narrate yourself into the video. You can insert text boxes or text into the video. You can hide certain chunks of the video. You can overlay shapes of the video. You can change the speed of the video. You can transfer. There's a lot of tools. This is really going to be stuff you're going to just play with. Record a video, go into the editor, and start clicking on buttons. Just because there's so many different features in here. Remember I said it's feature rich, but it's also simple. You don't get to this unless you start digging in the tools. The main point of Screencast-O-Matic was like, hey, if you want to record something on your screen really quick, publish the video and get it out, we've made a quick way to do that. But if you want to add more things to it in the editor, you can't do that. So I'm not going to go through all of these different tools. But I encourage you to go in and test them out. And then if you have questions, let us know. And we'll try to figure out what it is you're asking. The last piece, this was what I was talking about, I got confused on earlier. Once you're done editing, it brings you back to your options. And then you've got, you can save the video as a file, meaning it just saves it to your desktop, your computer. If you've got Google Drive file stream on your computer, you can save it right into your Google Drive. You can upload it to Screencast-O-Matic. You have the ability with the Premiere, with the subscription we have, you can upload it straight to your Screencast-O-Matic. Remember when you first logged in, you have those folders on the left-hand side in the web portal? That's where it's going to upload, and you can organize those videos online. The other thing is if you click the little plus and options, or the little plus bar in the top area, it brings up all these other features. So you can upload it directly to your Google Drive. You can upload it directly to YouTube. Vimeo, if you ever want to use that, you can, but it's another streaming platform. And Dropbox, again, if that's something you choose to use. But those are the main two, is Google Drive and YouTube, because if you're using those two channels to be able to get your content, it's a quick way to add those videos right there.
So it goes right to your channel that you just created.
Right, right. Before Jason goes into IP Vault, I'll just pull up that so you can see. I know some of you didn't create the videos, or create a video. So now you can see, I can see other people's recordings. That's because I am the, whatever, the main person, okay? So I can get other things. You should be able to not, or have your recordings and not be shared out with other people. That's something I'm still learning, and we'll share out more directions in the Google Classroom once I know that. But at the very least, you can get those videos published straight to your classroom.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, you link it using your Google login. Sorry, it's just loading here real quick. Take it off.
Yeah.
There you go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do a demo just over here real quick. We'll throw Jamboard. I'll close out of it here. So here's my Jamboard. So I'm going to go ahead. You can see it's picking up my microphone. If I wanted to resize it, I can resize it. We don't have a webcam on this computer, so I can't show you that part. But if I click on it, I can show that I can adjust where that webcam is going to be in the image. You'll notice right now it's grayed out, right? You can see stuff behind it. Once you start recording, it's going to be overlaid. It's not going to be grayed out anymore. So keep that in mind. If you've got stuff you don't want to cover up, make sure your camera is not over that. What I'm going to do is go ahead and just start recording. It's going to give me the countdown, 3, 2, 1. So now anything that I say, because I got my microphone on, anything that I do within this box is going to be recorded. So I can go in, grab my red, okay, well, apparently there we go. Record that. Pause the recording. Okay, so now you can see this, like I said, I can pause it, and then I can pick right back up. If I hit recording, it's going to give me the countdown again, but it's going to pick up wherever I left off. Once I'm done, I pause it, and I go over to the little done icon. From there is where I've got the save and upload, the quick share, which is what allows me to upload it to the Screencast-O-Matic.com, or edit video. Oops, it popped up on my other screen. Now here's my video. If I play it. So now anything that I say, because I got the microphone, okay, it shows me sections where my audio was cut out. It's very hard to see up on that screen, but you'll notice when you record videos, there's little grayed out sections where it's saying, hey, no audio is right here. It's detecting that for you, just so you know. Now you'll notice as I click around, and I apologize, I know it's really hard to see. Let me see if I can magnify really close. See if I can get this a little bit closer, you can see. So right here, here's my bar at the bottom that I was talking about. I can click on an area if I'm listening to it. So I can go in, I want to cut that chunk out right there. So I'm just going to hit this little cut icon. It's going to pop in this red bar. And from there, I can drag the red bar over the area that I want to cut. Click OK.
And you can pull
And it
it
chops
either
it
way.
out.
You can pull it either way.
You can pull it either way, yeah. It chops it right out. So now that chunk that I just cut out is cut out of the video.
That's very nice.
Now there is a little line there that you can't see because it's red and it doesn't show up. But if I click right on it, I can go back and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to cut that. Okay, I can put that back in. I can put that section back in if I accidentally cut something I didn't want to cut. So your editor is not final until you actually publish that video. The other thing, like I said, are those tools. If maybe you were talking or students were talking, you just want to turn the volume down on a chunk of the video, you can turn the volume down in just a chunk so they can't hear what was being said. Okay? So again, these are those tools I would suggest just going in and testing. I know that magnifier breaking away there, but then once you're done, oh, that's another thing I forgot I was going to show, is the cursor. You can take the cursor, you notice how it's got this little yellow thing around it? I can actually uncheck that, and it's not going to show my cursor at all. So you can, even though it's recorded it can be put in or taken out. You can also turn that webcam, if you did record it, but then you're like, I don't really need that in there, you can turn the webcam on and off as well within there. So a lot of features with that. And then again, when I'm done, there's the button right there. It says done. That's when I get that pop-up of how do I want to save it. I save it as a video, publish it to Screencast-O-Matic, or I can choose that more option, publish it to some of those other areas that I want. So that's just a quick overview. We will be adding to the Google Classroom. We'll be adding more detailed, like, step-by-steps of how to do things, because I know we're hitting a lot today. But at the very least, hopefully you're getting a quick dose to know what you want to try, with it. So, Mr. Ostrander, you're up. Okay, I'll take a look here in a minute.
It's got system very clears. I think I'm going to have to reimage that one. Old number 6. Old number 6. iPivo visualizer and document camera. Look at that. It's the new Wi-Fi version. Not all iPivos are the same. I have 2 in my office right now, or in our office. Like the first generation, I have that one, the old, like, eye on a stick looking thing. The second generation, they all work. So what I'm about to show you will work regardless of which iPivo you have. Because what I'm about to show you is the application, not the device. So you can use iPivo Visualizer with the camera built into your laptop. The visualizer does not depend on having an iPivo.
That's nothing. I didn't know.
Yeah, this is the new one. It's USB or wireless. Yeah.
Now, before you get too excited,
Yes.
so because of the CARES Act, we only had so much funding. So if you had the newest version of the iPivo that was before this one, you still will have it.
It's this one without the wireless.
Yeah.
That's really the only feature I've seen is like
There's a lot of people that don't have document cameras at all. So
right.
they will-
This part, the good part is the same. If you have one that looks like this, the only feature that you are missing, to my understanding, is the wireless component. So, but some people still do not have a document camera at all. I know that I personally didn't because I just kept giving them away. Like I've had 2 of these. I gave my first one to Lisa Daly. Then Keegan got me another one, and I gave it to, who did I give that to? Somebody at South. So classroom teachers, you need them. And so when they were given, every teacher's like a projector. Every teacher needs one. When they were given to me, I kept giving them to other people that needed them more than I did, I guess is what I'm saying. So
We are getting.
Yeah, if you do not have a
Everybody
document
will have
camera,
a document camera.
you will have a document camera. But I want to stress,
It's either this one, the newest model they've come out with, or the most recent model right before that, which is a VGA model. But it's the same, whatever it's called, the same resolution, same features. Really, the only change is they've made this one wireless.
yeah.
So
It's kind of like I parked next to Keegan this morning, and he's in this beautiful new shiny truck, and mine's not new, but it is shiny.
So he drives you to something.
So he drives me to Subway. But anyway, the point is this. I don't care that the trucks are different, because I just need them to go down the road. Your camera, I don't care, my presentation on the IPEVO visualizer, the visualizer is the application. That's what my presentation's on. Sometimes I use my application, the visualizer application. I don't even use the visualizer. I just use my webcam. Okay? So they're not the same. Okay. We are pushing this out through the Microsoft Store. Remember, if you came to the laptop trainings, what we had established was that
it should already be, it won't
Is
be
it?
an icon on your desktop, but it should already be, if you just search for visualizer on your,
I included the icon.
it should pop up,
Yeah.
because it has.
We're going to continue to do that. Remember I said, or we said during the laptop training, that Microsoft Store should be your go-to shop for looking for applications, third-party applications or Microsoft-related applications, because we're using a program, we use Intune, and we push things out through Active Server Directory. We push applications out to you. So if Corey finds something, takes it to Dave, and Dave's like, we got to get this to the teachers. He puts a ticket in for it. We can push it out to everyone. So the next time you come to school and open your laptop, you don't know it, but it's downloading in the background. Okay? IPEVO happens to be one of them. Again, not because we have the IPEVO document cameras. That's just, those are really nice cameras. It's because the Visualizer app is, from my perspective, one of the best on the market. So, it's a great digital tool. And I want to say that. I'm talking about the digital tool, not the physical camera document thing itself. I'm talking about the tool, the application for recording lessons. Now, you just saw, well, we just learned Screencast-O-Matic. Why are you showing us IPEVO? Okay, two different realities. Screencast-O-Matic captures what's on your desktop, which is what Windows calls your screen. The document camera captures what's on the top of your desk. Different mentality.
And if I want to record and the kids physically in my classroom, I need them to see it.
Correct. And that's why we have the document cameras that project to the projector, so as you're presenting, the kids are seen in the room. But what this is going to do is while the kids are seen in the room, you're recording it to be later uploaded to the classroom for the virtual learner. Same time. So, and I give the little disclaimer here, but it should be out to you. Okay. Now, once you launch the IPEVO visualizer, you can just, down in your little search bar, you can type IPEVO. You have, it all kind of starts, my instruction starts up here in the corner, upper left-hand corner. By the way, it's on your phone, Android or Apple. It's on your DVD players. It's on your smart TV. Not the IPEVO application, but the settings. That is the icon for settings. It is universally viewed across platforms as settings. Just like that little U with the line in it is for power. That was actually invented by Dell. It's now used on everything because everyone's like, yeah, that's a good symbol for power. Well, this is a good symbol for settings. I don't know why they chose a gear, but it is what it is. So when you have a technician say, please click on your settings icon, they want you to look for that. Little tangent there, sorry. So settings is where you're going to control everything. Your cameras you use, the microphones you have on, because maybe you guys didn't know this, but those of you that have, like, I have the IPEVO, that like the last year's model, but it doesn't have the Wi-Fi. Maybe you didn't know it, but it also has a microphone in it. I say that because 2 days ago, I didn't know that. Now I do. Has a built-in mic. And so what I do is this. I go into settings, and I tell it to use the microphone on my laptop. That's the one that's built into your Elite book. Like, well, what if I want to use the one on my IPVO? Oh, okay. When would I use the difference? Let's say you're using that IPVO, the wired or the wireless. The wired or the wireless. If it's the wired or the wireless and it sits on the other side of the room and I'm recording, I probably want to use that one if they're talking over there. But if I'm talking here and presenting over there, then I want to use this one. It's just a concept thing. But again, not all IPVOs are the same. The earlier generation of IPVOs, the little eyeball on a stick, we've gotten rid of most of those. Those didn't have a microphone. Most of them, not all of them. So that's still the one I use. So,
Jason,
yes.
do you have to have your IPVO plugged in
Yes.
to get any of those settings? Because
Yeah,
when I
it's
click on
winter
that, it's only letting me do the
snapshot.
instant preview or snapshot.
Oh, so it's not.
In order to get those settings. The other thing I'll look and see with the Windows Store, sometimes Windows Store apps are lighter versions. If it's a lighter version than the full, if it is not the full version, I'll push out the full version.
Then I'll just go through this presentation.
Sorry, yeah.
No, I'll just go through this presentation a little faster and just remind everyone, I've created a step-by-step presentation of how to set up your IPVO, and this is going out in our Google Classroom Distance Learning. So this whole presentation will be out there. So if you can't get to the settings now because of the camera having to be plugged in, and now that I think about that, mine was plugged in. So, you know what, Amy? I did test that, by the way. Thank you for reminding me. I did test that at the next screen. This icon is going to be located when you bring up the app. It's located in the lower right corner. It's the picture-in-picture. When I did not have the camera plugged in, you do not get this icon. As soon as I plugged it in, this popped up in my app. So I think it is contingent to the camera. So, but again, this will be out in the Google Classroom, so if you don't get to set it up today, you will. This is beneficial. I went over this several times using the two different IPVO cameras I had. I used it using two different webcams with the IPVOs, because here's the idea of the picture-in-picture. This, if you can see it in the background, a little snapshot I have, is the top of my desk in my office. I'm taking a picture. Right now, this is not my screen. This is just a snapshot of this corner. Because just like Screencast-O-Matic, I'm presenting whatever's on my desktop with a little mini-me in the corner. How do I do that? The IPVO document camera is facing down on the desk for whatever I put in front of it, and my Elite book is facing at me, right, the other camera, to record me talking and gesturing with the document camera. And when I'm recording, essentially, virtually, the students that are online are going to see that same presentation that the physical kid in my classroom saw. Me sitting there, putting things under the document camera, highlighting things, but they're seeing my face visually talk to them as well, and recorded the audio. So again, Screencast-O-Matic does a great job of doing exactly this on your screen. IPVO Visualizer, it's Screencast-O-Matic, but it's doing what's on the physical desk. And again, when you first launch the visualizer and you do picture-in-picture, it uses your document camera and the document camera. It puts the same picture in the picture, just like your TV does when you first do it. So you have to say, nope, there's a little icon right here, and I say, use my UVC camera, and that's why you can see my face, because as soon as I clicked it, it turned on. Now I've got two cameras running.
What's UVC?
That's just what the camera that's built in is called. If you have 3 cameras or 4 cameras installed all over your house or whatever, this list obviously could get much longer. This is the Ziggy HD Plus, is the older version of the IPVO document camera. The UVC camera number 1 is the camera that's installed on the front of your screen. Now, again, if you can experience this, it's all going to be in the presentation. This is more of an introductory lesson anyway. It's kind of superficial, but just like the Screencast-O-Matic, down at the bottom of your screen, just like your phone, you're going to have a choice between camera or recorder. You have either choice of either one. I prefer recorder. It comes on camera at first, but you can just, there's a little caret. We talked about the caret, it's just a little caret, and you choose recorder. The reason why I like the recorder is because I can record a video, but along the way, I can take snapshots. So now if you think about it, I'm recording a full-length video, but if I put something up there, I can take a snapshot of it. Now I've got a separate picture of that frame. And the video keeps recording. So I can just go over and click snapshot, snapshot. Why would I do that? Because now I have a full-length video that the kids can watch and maybe snapshots of specific things that I put under the camera I want them to refer to. So again, once you choose the recorder and you click on it, it turns into this, which is the universal symbol for record, a red square. Now it's recording. When you click record, this window pops up. This is called the dialog box, conversation between you and the computer. iPeople Visualizer is saying, I'm going to record this video. Where do you want me to save it? You can select a folder, or most of us, we just throw it on our desktop. So now here's a little bit bigger picture. I click on record. Here's the document camera taking a picture of the mask I'm wearing, or a mask like the one I'm wearing right now. And then this is my document camera. This is my laptop camera. And this is where I talk about where the recording allows for snapshots. The first time, and I learned this with a user for the Screencast-O-Matic, the first time you launch iPevo, just like the first time you launch a lot of apps on your phone or your laptop, it needs what are called permissions. It needs permissions. So you installed Instagram on your phone, and the first time you launched it, it said, do you want to allow Instagram access to your video, your chat, your messages, your contacts, your blood type, your firstborn? I mean, right? You have to give it permissions.
That's the fine print, right?
That's the fine print, yeah. So let iPevo, Instagram's owned by Facebook. Anyway, let iPevo Visualizer access your microphone? Yes. Why? Because all iPevos are not the same. I have a little iPevo document camera that's just the eyeball on a stick. So it doesn't have a microphone. So yeah, access my microphone. What if I have an iPevo with a microphone? Let it access my microphone. Well, why? What if I want to choose between the two? If I say no, I only have one in the drop-down list. So I said yes. That screen will come up. Just once.
So if I have this and I have the document camera that's just the eye of the sky, I can't connect it at this point, can I? How do I connect this to my document?
That's, when you get those document cameras, that's going to be a
I'm
how-to.
saying the one I have now, I can't do that.
Correct. No,
What?
you have one of the older models.
All right, later I'll show you. Mark gave me this, and I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah.
Go out to the Jamboard, slap a sticky note on just so. I'm using Jamboard as mental reminders of little things that you guys have said that have popped up, but you're going to have to do me a favor because I'm not getting any younger. Head back out to that Jamboard session we started way back at the beginning of this. Slap a sticky note on there for us. Even if it's just a sticky note for just you. It's like, this ain't about anybody else, it's just me. It's worth it. Put it out there for us, please. Now, here's the thing. When you click record, it's got a running timer. Your viewers don't see that. It's just for you. Just like in the Screencast-O-Matic, you had that little gray box. It was just for you. Same thing here. So what is this? What did I do this slide for? Because the recording icon is used to begin and end recording. So you click there to begin it, just like on your phone. You click there to end it. Okay? Unlike Screencast-O-Matic, you don't have that timeline where you can cut and paste. And so it's like, why would I learn Screencast-O-Matic if if I can just use my iPivo, 2 different uses. One, virtual desktop. The other, physical desktop. One, you can cut and edit the stream of the recording you made. The other, you get what you get. So, which one should you use? All of them. Just give yourself time. So, why did I bring this slide up? After you stop the recording, wherever you told it to save it, the desktop, your documents, wherever, it saves it, but look at the name it gives it. Right? Made it yesterday. Okay? You're like, that's not useful to my kids. My parents aren't gonna know. That's the next slide. The next slide, well, oh, no, I combined slides, I'm sorry. So what I said is this. After you stop recording, it's where you put it. Notice where I put mine? Everybody does this, it's okay. You can store things on your desktop, it's okay. I put them other places, I forget them. But here's what I said to do. Locate it. It's on the desktop. Locate it. Right-click on it. Have you ever right-clicked? Right-click on it. Rename it. Rename it to what? Math tutorial. Today's social studies lesson. Whatever you want to call it. So that when you upload it to Seesaw or you upload it to your Google Classroom and you provide it as an attachment in a Google assignment, it's got the name that will make sense to the kids. Not this. That's very common practice for a lot of us.
I apologize, my sticky notes is big and I can't make it small. It's taking the whole screen. That might be something I need to
So again, 2 things I'm going to ask of you. When you go back and plug in your visualizer camera, right? Try the picture-in-picture because that's what you're going to want. That's what this whole presentation was for, is to set it up to complement what Keegan just explained with the Screencast-O-Matic. Are they the identical applications? No. They both record, yes. They both record audio, yes. But they don't record the same thing. It's that mindset, okay? But this short, right, is as short as I can make it to get you in to thinking about what I need you to learn. That being said, when you plug in your iPivo, right, go through this again to set it up, make stupid videos of yourself recording just like we're doing this. We're all doing it, right? Test, this is me testing, right? Just to experience it. Because the more we do that, we start to unlock those creative things that get us going. Okay. Because I'm next up with this too. Okay.
Just so you know, I did the picture of me on there just so you know that I'm okay looking silly on the screen. You can't too.
He needs to look. He needs to water his plants. Look at that. Water your plants. Hey, did you know the spider plants have flowers? I didn't know that, Dave.
Yeah.
The little tiny, beautiful little tiny little. Oh, anyway, sorry. Didn't know that. You didn't know that?
They're a very hardy plant too. You can let it like almost die and then
Well, look what he's doing. He cuts these off and then he replants them. Okay, Google Meets. Why are we using Google Meets? We have Zoom. You do not have Zoom. The free membership ran out. That was something, Zoom came out of nowhere. Before the pandemic, I had no clue what Zoom was. I had never heard of it. When I met Keegan in March going, dude, we got to hit the ground running on this distance learning thing, within the first 2 days, I came to him and said, what is Zoom? He was pretty much, I know, right? Like we never had heard of it, came out of nowhere, and then it was adopted across the globe. Today, well, not today, but at the end of last month, the Zoom free version ran out. And like a good drug dealer, they teased you.
They did, so just so you know, they did extend it, but it's only through September 1st.
Get it out of your head, it ran out. Because your district is,
I just wanted you to know.
the licensing of that program is not going to happen. That is cost prohibitive. I mean, we could let 1 or 2 teachers go and then afford Zoom for everyone is what I'm saying. It is expensive. It went from now, I didn't know what it was. It is now traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah. It's over $1 billion now for something that didn't exist 5 months ago. So, what is Google Meets? Google Meets is free. Google Meets is built, like Jamboard, is built into the Google Suite. Meaning, it's not only available to our students, but it is protected under the same security and scrutiny that we protect their Google accounts with. It's FERPA compliant. It does everything we need it to do. Does it have all the features of Zoom? No. Does it have the ones we need to communicate to our students and with our students? Yes. That's all I care about. Now, go ahead and head out to your Google Classroom, because maybe I didn't think about this and I didn't put it in my tutorial. Maybe you didn't turn your link on. Jennifer, I know you did, because you've used Google Meets. You know what I'm talking about, where you had to activate the link so it shows up in the Google Classroom header? Okay. Has anybody not done that? Keegan, can you go out to like our distance learning so I can show them what I'm talking? Wait, I think I got a slide for it. I do. Never mind. Do nothing. So here's a screenshot I took of the staff training and remote learning. If you go out to our Google Classrooms that you subscribe to, this one's called Staff Training Remote Learning. That's where you are right now. This is the Meet link I'm talking about. If you go out to your classroom that you've been working with and you do not have this Meet link, you have not turned it on.
But it says generate Meet link, is that all we have to do is press?
Yes,
And we only have to do that once.
just once. Yep, just once. Now,
If you see it, it's on.
if you see it here, it is on. Now, Amy, this goes to you. You remember when we were doing the class codes for the students? And I said, you give out your class code, and then you can reset it. You can reset this one. I don't quite know why as yet, why you can, but you can. Okay?
Do we want to copy it?
No, you don't have to. It's there for your students. The students can click on that. Now, here's the important part, and I need you to see this, and we're going to share this with your building level administrators, but we need to share it with each other. Google Meet, it's important to understand we have to be compliant with the securities and protections of our students. Of course we do. But when you add the distance learning component, you add a layer of complexity that's hard to control. So I had to create a tutorial, and when I was going down the first path of how I was going to do this, Keegan and I found a backdoor loophole that was a game changer. And I'm going to leave that story for a different day. What's important is this. It is imperative that you access Google Meets via the Google Classroom Meet link. Period. But you know you can do it. Period. Trust me on this. You do not want kids in the backdoor Google Meets having meetups in your Google Classroom at 10 o'clock at night talking about God knows what. Okay? And I'm going to leave it at that.
So this, we have so many.
This is you having complete control. This, if you're not in it, nobody's in it.
So we could just press that like no to it.
So we all have to do that.
So when you want to start a Google Meet, you say you send out the thing, Google Meet on Thursday at 10:30 a.m., right? At 10:15, you get your cup of coffee, you go click on this link, get comfy, right? It's active, kids start showing up. Okay?
I don't get it.
Yes.
That's different than the spring because Deanna and I tried Google Meets and there were people already in it.
Uh-huh.
We even-
Uh-huh.
So.
You don't want that.
Change that, it's.
If you use this. If you use this. If you go to meets.google.com, you log in specifically to it, and that allows kids to get in when you're not there. This one, if you're not in, they're not in.
So if we always teach them to log in with their Google account.
As I have since second grade.
Then they'll be in the right spot.
Yep.
What will it say to them when if they log in at 10:45 and they're waiting?
Says this meeting room is not available for you. So one thing to note, If you go in right now, even though your students in the Google Classroom, your email address is at ithacaschools.net. For all at ithacaschools.net, you're considered teachers, which means you can go to any Google Classroom that has been shared. You can click the link. Because you're a teacher, you can start that classroom up. Students are at ithacajackets.net. They have to have a teacher start that link before they can access it. So if you're testing this, like, hey, I can get in it even though I'm not supposed to be, even though you're a student in the Google Classroom, the classes we've shared, you still have that at ithacaschools.net, which makes you a teacher, so it's automatically going to allow you to start it. I was nervous about that. We tested it with student accounts. They have different settings than teachers do.
So again, we were testing it and freaking out because we kept back and forth in the office going, I can get in! And then Keegan was like, wait a minute. We logged in as a student, just pick a random student, and they couldn't. I'm like, okay. That's when we realized, duh. Yes?
Okay, we still don't understand what you mean. Like, you mean like in here in our Google thing? This is how we would set up the meeting? Is that what you're talking about? We have to
that's how you
use
do
that?
not. That's how
Oh,
you do
we do
not.
not.
Go to the classroom, go to your... You're in Seesaw. You're not using Google Classroom.
If we want to have a Google Meet.
Then you have to set up a Google Classroom.
And then it's that code or?
Yes.
You have your own.
Well, it's not this code. This is our code.
Okay, that's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Yes.
No, she brings up a valid point. So what we're trying to get away from is this. Keegan's logged in as himself with his Google account. When you go to Google Classroom, you just go to your Google Drive. You go to Google Classroom. You go to, well, if you scroll down, there's Google Meet. Do not use that one. Do not use that one. Don't use Google Meets over here. Go to your classroom and use it there.
They look at when they log in, they see, they will have that link up there. So
There's no
Always there.
They would have to set up a classroom for nothing more than Google Meet. At South, they're doing Seesaw, not Google Classroom.
So you can set up through meet.google.com. You can set up, and if you use a nickname when you create a Google Meet, you can use a nickname and call it Taylor Third. All one word. The students can use that nickname, and then they can't only when you join it, like the Google Classroom.
Yes, we're going to
That
talk about
part about it is you have to create that every time. So if you use the same nickname every time, so they know, hey, we're going to do a Google Meet with Mrs. Taylor today, they know they're always going to type in Taylor Third.
Well, but for
Or for South, yeah.
But they're not using Google.
Correct. So you can go to meet.google.com and create a session with a nickname. That nickname is unique. They cannot get into a classroom unless you're in it, unless that classroom is started. What was that?
Go out to the Jamboard, give us a little sticky note.
Yes, put it in the Jamboard, but we will have more information in that Google Classroom on these types of things.
We're going to rely, Keegan and I are going to rely heavily on the 3 classrooms we made for Seesaw, for Google Classroom, and for distance learning. We're going to rely a lot to push information out there. Why? Because, I'm sorry, for me, email is an antiquated system, and since I've been in this new position, I'm averaging 50-some emails a day. It's nauseating. I like to push content through the classroom because I can consume it at my leisure. Not, did you get my email? I got a lot of emails. Okay? I would prefer that we continue to do this. So we're going to rely heavily on, in this case, staff training and remote learning. So, Linda, Amy, as we had come up with alternatives, especially for our South School users that use Seesaw, I did that yesterday with the microphone. If they use Seesaw, not Google Classroom, we're going to have a side tutorial that will walk you through how to create a Google Meet that is just as secure as using this way without obligating you to use a Google Classroom. I don't have that right now, but it will be made available to you, obviously. And if I make it available to you, and it's not as convenient as me sitting here talking to you, then I will come and visit you, and we'll sit next to each other and we'll set up a meeting. Because it's important that we do it safely and securely. Yes? Okay.
Well, will staff start to use this too? Like our principals, if they need using it?
They may. I'm not sure what Zoom account you're using for the staff meetings that Jim's doing.
We haven't done that, we've done Zoom.
Those are Zoom. I know that we did purchase a license for Zoom for the use by the school board because of the way the Zoom has some extra features that Meet hasn't put in there yet. But Google, like any good multi-jillion-dollar conglomerate, they basically are dissecting Zoom and slowly adding all the cool things Zoom can do. Google Meet will do. Not yet. You wait. I guarantee it.
One more thing, I'll just jump in real quick. Like Zoom, Google Meet has shared some information that they've shared out a free trial, if you will. So they also, right now, Google Meet's unlimited time. Starting September 1st, I believe, they will drop their time back to an hour, so it's more than Zoom. That time gets dropped back to an hour, but other than that, I think all the other features remain the same.
It's like
So
140.
Google does also have tiered levels like Zoom, paid levels, but for our purposes, an hour should be plenty of time.
So something that's worth noting, if not just for what I'm talking about now, but every website, Amazon, your credit card companies, here's the URL, meet.google.com, right? That means something. If you see that where it's unlocked, that means everything that you're doing on that website is not secure. All the information that you're providing on that website is not secure. So I bring that up because in order for Google Meet to work, you, like most applications, must give it permissions. I have to allow the camera. I have to allow the microphone. Does that make sense? So what if I accidentally clicked no, or right? Go there. You click it, this menu comes down. There's another place to control notifications and permissions. I'm not going to discuss that in this. That'll be a little more advanced. It's not advanced, but it's a couple more clicks. This is like 2 clicks. Click, click. Or the first time you go out there, the box pops up and says, do you want to allow this to, yeah, go ahead. It's just, for me, it's instinctual, and I've done it a jillion times. The box pops up, I click block. I just do it without thinking now. And then when I was trying to do this, I'm like, mine's not working. I blocked it. So that's my fault. Anyway, you're going to see this screen. It's going to activate your camera before, just like Zoom did, before you even start the meeting. 2 things I learned. It made sense to Keegan and I that you'd click present because you're the presenter. I want to present. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't do what I need it to do. I found you have to click join. So it's like you're joining, and then once you join, then you go to present. It's weird. I got a slide for it. So you're going to click join now. I tried to click present. It doesn't do what I need it to do. So this is what Sheila was asking. Once you join, because you're the teacher, you have controls that the students wouldn't. For example, you have the information that you can send out to the phone users, the toll-free number. You can copy that information. You can paste it into an email and spam it out to all your kids or guardians if you want them to join for the meeting. Or specifically, Dave wants to come to your meeting, right? Administrator that's normally not invited for your normal classroom meeting, you can add people because you're the teacher. Yes?
Didn't you say, though, that we wanted to go into Google Classroom
Right, but I'm in Google Classroom. This is my Meet, so I can now add people. Students can't.
Okay, so once they can, even if they click on the link, they can only access it once it's open?
Correct. Correct. So even if I spam it out, like Zoom, did you ever go to Zoom before the meeting started? It said this room is not available. That's what will happen with Google Meet. Good question. So this is where I can invite people, or I can, by phone or. So I wanted to show you that even if you join, because remember, if you remember, your students in your class are going to have that link they can click on. Guardians that you invite to your Google Classroom will have that link. Dave won't, but I want him to come to the meeting. Well, then once I'm in the meeting, I can invite him. And I can invite him by email, I can invite him by phone, whatever. Yes, you have this menu is once you're in the meeting.
So how do you invite them, like we're gonna use Remind, and I wanna tell my virtual kids, meet me on Google Meets at 10 a.m. on Wednesday.
You provide this link, you spam it out to them. If they click on it on Tuesday, it'll say this meeting is not available. But at least they'll have the link to click.
Where will it be for me? Because it changes every time I open it.
This link,
Doesn't,
Your Google Classroom link that you're talking about?
yeah.
That should stay the same.
No, that's-
Unless you choose to change it.
This is how it's different than Zoom. That's where people are having the problem.
yeah.
So do we have, this is the same for kids every time we meet? So
Yes.
we just give them the time and then they know
Yes.
to go in the classroom and
Yes.
just click on it?
Absolutely.
All they need is
That's
the
all they need. They need the time. Join me in Google Meets 10:30 Tuesday.
But the link is like always the same.
Yeah, so on 10:30 on Tuesday, 10:20 on Tuesday,
Yeah.
they log into their Google account and they click that link.
But that's what's different about Zoom. And then
Correct.
Like Zoom, you get a new link every
Nope,
time.
this
Then
is the same.
meetings are
Yep.
same one.
So you teach your kids, when I say there's a meeting at 10:30, you go onto your computer, you log into your Google account, you click that link. 10:30.
It's like email that link, though, they don't have to be in Google Classroom, they can click on that link from the email.
That's what it does, is it provides that link. But it's not available until you go in,
And create your own.
Unless they're teaching.
unless they're a teacher. Not any teacher, a teacher of ithacaschools.net.
Because Karen and I are just in year one right there, so we can see each other and talk to each other.
Because you're teachers. Okay, we've tested it with students, they cannot. Now, I had said that it seemed weird to me to click Join Now when I want to be the presenter. I tried Present, it doesn't do what I need it to do. What do I need it to do? My goal was to integrate the use of my IPVO into, or my Screencast-O-Matic into, or my game bar into a Google Meet. I want to spam out to my kids in the meeting virtually what I'm doing while I'm doing it. The nice thing about Screencast-O-Matic or IPVO, the kids that are absent that day, I'm recording it. I'll then post it out to Seesaw, or I'll post it out to Google Classroom. They can view it later. But the kids that are in that moment with me, they see it while I'm doing it. Let me explain. Once I click Join, this window popped up. Again, I'm not giving you my whole screen. I'm giving you snapshots of what I need you to see. So on this screen, I showed you where this is at. It's in the lower left corner of your Google Meet browser. On the next screen, there it is still, but now in the lower right, Present Now.
So Jason,
Yes,
because nobody's joined mine, when I click.
join mine.
I'm used to Zoom having the controls where I can toggle between a list of people or.
Yep, you can do that here.
Will that come up? That'll be like a.
Actually, you can see it right there. See that little, it shows me how many, I'll get to that screen in a second, but it shows you how many users. You click on that, over on the right side, it goes boom, and it gives you all your users. You can mute them.
But you can.
No, yeah, you can direct. You can kick them. You
I
can.
think you can mute them and kick them.
I'm going to talk about that. I've got a slide
One
for
of the
that.
features that they're adding, sorry, I'm not cutting over you.
Nope,
One
fine.
of the features they're going to hopefully add is the ability for you to control and being able to turn the microphone on and off. That's one feature they don't have yet. You can mute them, but they can still unmute them.
Oh, thank you for that. Especially the early learners. Google does not have that. That is a feature they're working on, is the ability to mute. And so one of the complaints
Stay.
that the teachers sent out is the fact that when they were joining Google Meets, they're all talking and jumping and wrestling and mom screaming in the background, and you can't mute them.
You can mute them, but you have to do it individually,
Yeah.
and you can't keep them from unmuting themselves.
So you mute them, and they're like,
Feature that they're supposedly
yeah.
going to release soon.
See, like in Zoom, if the moderator of a Zoom meeting mutes someone, you can't unmute yourself if they mute you. So basically what I did is I clicked on Join Now, and then because I'm the teacher, you could do this too because you're a teacher, is I can present. Present is the same thing as in Zoom where you share my screen. Okay? I'll try to make more Zoom connections, if that helps. So like share my screen. So is present now. What I like about this better than Zoom is the options. When I click present now, I have options. Do I want to present my entire screen? That's Zoom. Do I want to present just a window? Do I want to present just a Chrome tab? Those are your options. When you click present now, this pops up. So what I did is you can choose to record the meeting, by the way, if you want. That's a little side note. You can record a meeting. But what I did is I clicked on present now. I had you can see I don't know why, I had MS Paint. Oh, I was making clip art. I had MS Paint running. I had YouTube. I was watching a video. This is me actually in my Google Meet. You can see my shirt. And then this is the IPVO. Remember in the last presentation, you fired up your IPVO? I had picture-in-picture running in IPVO. Shut picture-in-picture off in IPVO, so I have one camera on the IPVO visualizer. So I said, present now, shows a window. This pops up when you choose a window. This pops up. It says which window? IPVO. Then you get this screen. This is in the lower right corner down by your clock. It'll say, you're presenting to everyone. In the Google Classroom, it says, you're presenting to everyone. Okay. Down at the bottom, this is IPVO. So in IPVO, they're now seeing my screen. But just like in Zoom, when you log into Zoom, you have that little picture of who was talking in the corner. So now I'm presenting. IPVO is on the screen for all the kids to watch, and Mr. Ostrander is right up here in the corner looking at them with my webcam. Just like IPVO, I'm just taking it online now. And I did want to say that at this time there are several places in the notification to stop the sharing of your screen. Here, here, here. Those are visible to you, not to the students during the share, just as a reminder. So you can pop in and out of this feature. It was asked, I think it was Amy that had asked, during the Google Meets, notification and adding who was attending your meeting. Just like in Zoom, you had the option of seeing the participants. Up here it says there are 2 participants because Keegan was in there with me. I'm here, he's over there somewhere on the other side of the office. So there's 2 participants. Now what I did is you click on that and it shows you over here, Amy, you're asking about this, it shows you the list of all the participants, it shows you the list of who's chatting. Okay? Just like Zoom. It even pops over on the right. Just, okay?
Do you have a record of that, like afterwards, to be able to go back and say, oh yeah, these are the kids that were there, this is what they said? like the chat and the participants?
Yep,
By
recording the
recording
meeting.
it, By recording it, okay.
Now, if you really want to get fancy, you could run Screencast-O-Matic,
No, I'm not gonna.
overlaying IPvo while you stream IPvo to your Google Meet, so that when you're done, you could edit the recording that you just made before you post it. At least, la 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 la.
I suggest drinking before that.
Yeah, just a big stiff one before you log on, man. Okay, so it was also asked, if I'm the moderator, how do I close the classroom? Because this is something that we did know. And this is actually from the Google's help site. Do not leave your class before your students, because once they're in, that is an active meet, right? And it stays active until all participants leave, even if the presenter leaves. Still there. Make sense? Hence my next slide.
Can you customize that code?
Yeah, you can reset that code. That's the one that it is right now. Actually, it's not, because I've already reset it. Once I said, hey, if I share this out to everybody, if somebody's walking by, they could see the code, and then they could. So once I made this presentation, I went back to our classroom and I reset it. So now it's a different code.
Are you saying they'll like customize like something, put a name or something?
Like Unicorn 1, I think is what somebody had said before.
In Google
No.
Classroom you cannot, but if you create it.
If you go to a nickname, if you go to the meet.google.com and set up a meet that way, you're doing it through a nickname. It's an authentic nickname. You could do it that way.
Maybe you don't want that feature, maybe you want this screen code so people can't join
So here's the next thing.
the password.
Last one out shuts the lights off. Make sure that all participants have left. Or, for the, what did we call them yesterday? Or the student that won't leave, help them out the door. If you click on a user over here, right there, remove from meeting. Boop, gone. So I say goodbye. It was nice seeing everyone. I'll see you same time next week. Take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Try to get outside and go for a walk, blah, blah, blah. And you start seeing people leave, just like leave meeting. Okay? You're going to see kids that can click here and they're going to leave. Right? But there's that one kid that's like, I got one more fart joke. Right? If they won't leave, remove them. Once you see that you're the only one in the meeting, leave. And they can't get back in because you left.
It's another feature that Google hopefully will release. They've got it in works, is to be able to like Zoom end meeting for all. So that's another
Can they see
hopeful
the-
coming, but this is the fix. Until
No, it just say you've been. It just says you've been removed.
Oh, my connection died or she cut off, she won't know that.
No, it'll say you've been removed.
Oh, it'll say. So
Most kids are like going to be like, I'm out of here. I can't leave fast enough. But it's that one kid that's like, one more time, one more chance.
Armstrong told me I kicked him out. I said, no, I didn't. So now they're gonna know.
So, once you've left, right, you're going to get this screen right in the middle of your screen. You have left the meeting. You can rejoin, but if you do, kids can start popping back in again. It's only active when you're in it.
Is there a button to push to get out for us as a teacher?
It's down at the bottom of your screen. It's not up here. But
I
it's
think
right
I
down
had
here.
it. Oh, right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Hang up. Just like in Zoom. Zoom had leave meeting over here.
Yeah.
This has hang up. It's like a little phone. I think I had it in a couple screens. So, yeah, it's a little hang up right there. Hang up.
I thought they had to do with people calling.
By the way, that's a good point that I'm gonna put. That's how you leave the meeting yourself. So once everybody's gone, you just hang up. This is how you mute yourself. This is how you shut your video off, just like in Zoom. Any questions? Post on Jamboard, little sticky note,
Or a big one.
or a big one.
I fixed it.
Woo! It was a little touch and go there for a while, but in the end, we pull it off, people.
So, really quick, I was just looking through the different Jamboards, different frames, I should say. Most of them, or a lot of them, we did answer. So some of them I'm not going to go through. Really quick, I'll just try to hit a few because we are at at 2 hours and 7 minutes right now, but I'll try to hit a few really quick so that I can get the big ones, and then the other ones we will push out information in classroom. Windows Game Bar, how you turn that on, there's some directions in there in the Google Classroom on how to do that using your Windows key and G key, or you can just search for Game Bar. There are some people that didn't push out to right away, so you might, I know this, tech fix it, right? Reboot your computer. It's not going to always fix it, but there are policies that are pushing that stuff out. Sometimes the reboot is what kicks those policies into place. So.
Don't turn off your laptop just yet. That just reminded me of something. While they're here on the school's network, you should have them authenticate their office. Some of you have tried to go, I've got 2 tickets on this. You took your laptop home, you wanted to create a Microsoft Word document or a spreadsheet. That's an Office product. It's a licensed product, okay? So you try to activate it from home and it says, I'm sorry, authentication required, and it wouldn't let you. You couldn't use Word. The first time you use that program, you have to be on the district's network so it can authenticate that you are a licensed user. So you might, while you're here, just fire up Microsoft Word or fire up PowerPoint, just one of the Office applications, so that it can authenticate that you are a licensed user of Office. That'll save you a trouble ticket later while you're here. I mean,
and if you do get it at home, you already set your computer up or whatever, you just have to come back on our network, open it up, and it'll authenticate. It's just one of the steps we missed when we were doing rollouts.
yeah, when we were doing rollouts, I missed that step, as I mean.
For Screencast-O-Matic, some few questions. Can you save and edit later? Yes. You can save it. When you open up Screencast-O-Matic on your computer, it brings up all the videos that you have. So you can save and exit out of it after you get done with the video. It gives you the option to publish it, or you can just exit out at that point. It's saved to your Screencast-O-Matic, so you can edit them later if you want. Connecting the projector to record in class. We're working on it. So the problem is these computers have HDMI out only. Most of your projectors that plug into your desktop computer have VGA, which is the kind of trapezoid with all the little pins in it. So it takes running new cables in order to get that to work. Very few people have HDMI because we've started upgrading those as we put in new projectors, but not a lot of people do. So at this point, no, we do not have, there's not a solution right now to be able to do that, but we are working on funding and time to go and put that stuff in, hopefully soon. Evo, I think we answered that one. Special ed teachers, yeah, I would say if we do have to go to a complete shutdown like a virtual, the easiest way is getting the links like Jason said with Google Meets, having those links pre-built for you, the students. To me, my thought is I want the students to develop a pattern so they know where they're going every time, or parents if they're really young kids, right? If I know I got to go to that Google Classroom every time that link's going to be in the same exact spot, I would develop that pattern. Or if you do it in Seesaw, maybe you post it in there, do it the same way every time. Develop that pattern. But that was a question with special ed. So I think...
I have a couple more things. Cover everything in Jamboard. How long does that Jamboard stay open?
Jamboard, it's as long as I allow people to keep typing there.
Well, I don't want to discourage the conversation that goes. If you have to leave, you have to leave. I don't want to discourage. No, I'm just saying. I don't want to discourage you from using Jamboard, but sometimes the questions you need it's better off with email. After I just said the thing about email, please understand the reason why I like an email from you regarding your use of technology is it creates a paper trail for us to report to the administration how we're using our time, managing our time, and things of that nature. It creates, see, Jason is doing something, okay? Also, we appreciate your time that you're giving up to be here, but I'm going to put this on Dave because I haven't had an opportunity to talk to Sarah yet. The DPPD by law is required for the district to provide up to 30 hours a year through the district. This is not condoned PD by the district. However, I personally, in my last, you need the whatever it is, I don't even know, 160 hours. Last year, I clocked 364 hours of PD. because I go to ISD trainings, I go to conferences. That's just overkill, right? So even though the district provides us 30, I would suggest to them they could very easily provide this and just sign off on it. If those of us that attended, we'd have to do an attendance thing though. But I don't know. It's like we're not getting paid to be here, but we could use this. This is qualified PD. It's just not condoned by the district because it happened so late. You have to put in for PD. You can't just say, hey, we're doing this now. You have to submit it to the state, and that's already been done. But I think that's something, a compliment we could give to those that are attending online, virtually, or here in person. Okay. Let's keep that conversation going because I think it's a healthy one. So.
Last thing was just syncing up Google Parents, Students, the Power School. I talked about this in the Google Classroom training. We are going to attempt to push your students into your Google Classrooms once we get the Power School stuff synced up right. Once classes are able to be done, which is not done until the virtual, we get the report of the virtual. But anyway, the question was about adding students and parents to Google Classroom. So parents are, the invitation to guardians is something that you have to do in your Google Classroom. I don't think we have the ability to do that. But parents don't have access to those Zoom meetings. Only the students that are in that Google Classroom have access to that. Or not Zoom, I keep saying Zoom, Google Meets things. Students are the only ones. Parents only have access to the students. So if you're wanting to invite parents, you would need to share that link with them. But even then, I'll look into that. If you really are wanting to invite parents into, maybe put that on the board just so we know, and I'll look into it more, because in a classroom, that code is specific for the students in that class. They have to have an academicajackets.net account in order to join that.
So I'm just thinking, like, for first grade, like, they might need, like, their parent to help them, right?
Correct,
So
yeah.
we just have to clearly say, like, they have to go through their student email.
Through Clever.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'd
I'll
recommend
send
go through
those. That was
Clever.
another question that was asked about getting some directions on that.
Okay.
When this first happened back in March and we had our first distance learning, I think most of you have either heard the news, read the things coming out of Lansing, or just talked to your employer. The expectations for the potential of distance learning, what it looks like in the fall, is not anything of what it was makeshift, fly by the seat of our pants in March. It's just not going to be the same. Has to be, there's reporting, there's in-depth assessments. It is full-on distance learning. That being said, I will say this here, that in the event we go from phase 4 to phase 3, which is completely online, right? You as employees will be expected to come to work every day. You will be expected. But I think that's encouraging because we have the fastest internet. You can't get internet this fast at your house. We have access to all the resources, including Keegan and myself, to come to your classroom or to meet several of you in an area like this and walk you through processes. So just so you know, in the event that we go into that situation again, unlike before where we were banned from the public buildings, our employers made it clear you will be required to show up, and I'm encouraging you to do so because all your resources are here. Any questions? Any other further questions? Dave, I don't mean to speak out of turn. I am clearly an employee, not an employer, but that's been made clear to me, and it's my responsibility to share that with my colleagues. So start sharing it with each other, too, that aren't here.
Thank you very much for coming.
Jason, remind us, when do we get the remind that our institutional?
No, we're switching the people who are switching away from just have done the data migration.
You're in.
Can't send up the remind information because we're currently working
Yeah, I've
with
got one I
a
need
bunch of erroneous errors.
It's expired
That's why
on
we're
the
Oh, we are
11th.
still going through.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're really close because
Okay.
we're doing contacts right now. The cleaning of the contacts, we went from over 14,000 contacts down to 7,000. So it just keeps but we're going to roll all of the remind stuff out. We're doing it. Oh, by the way, I said, well, most people don't know this remind is like 2 weeks. Some of them are
There's like different things.
They have one for sure.
We can't, I'm just saying, like, when we merge, it's gonna see that you have a mind, and it's gonna say, oh, instead of creating more.
I would like to know how to do it. I have one with little notes on it going, this is really, I might have to read it. They don't have any big warning in somebody's password.
No, it's actually.
So we'll.
I'll leave
I hope everything goes well
Like
today.
I have NHS here.
So far, everybody thinks it's covered us very well.
Good deal.
Those should come over because of the way that they're associated to the reminder. Again, we took the K-12 database and we merged it with the remind. Now we have to go through and the company remind. We don't have access to the database. They're saying, we got this. But you're not us. But so far it's working. So.
But we'll be able to have a separate personal one, like for the
What are you
IEA.
trying to do?
Yep.
Separate.
Nothing
But
keeps
see,
you
I tried to set it up to
But on
They
my
still knew
phone
it was
and
me,
email.
and it's still.
Isn't that creepy? So I asked her about that. I was like, well, wait a minute. What if I have J. Ostrander at schools.net, and then I have
I mean,
Jimmy John at gmail.com? Because of all the other stuff, first name, last name, email address, it says, oh, this is the same person.
and I
It
think
merges the
that's, and I
accounts. Like,
think
what the
that's why
heck?
it's such a mess right now.
And then, do you have two apps on your phone or one?
Just one.
Just one?
It's, you know what it reminds me of? What's
Yeah,
going to
like-
remind me of? It's like,
Switch accounts once you're in it or
yeah,
something.
like in Gmail, I'm at J. Ostrander at gmail.net, or I'm on my personal
Okay,
email.
all right,
It's
so
like
it'll
that.
do something like that.
Mhm,
Okay.
Yep, he showed us that.
All right, can I show you something else?
Sure.
With, this is the Screencast, yeah, sorry. Mine doesn't say none, it gives me a max term of 15 none, and it doesn't have like all the powers. Yeah, it doesn't have, oh, and the audio, I could switch.
It's like, you know, it like freezes up until all that other term gets done.
You're to upgrade and capture,
Oh.
and then here is, it doesn't give me the
Okay,
none.
Screencast-O-Matic, we are purchasing it, so perhaps when he said this about, the people visual, there's two versions, there's like a free to consumer, and then they look exactly the same.
So that's
But
just a short
features, what we're finding is they're not the same behind the curve. That's so what he's saying is he's gonna look, make sure you push the right button. So if
But
it's,
hers was,
Or,
hers, she had none for max nine, but I had,
What if you went back,
I will,
what if you went back into the email though?
it probably, all those updates are probably.
Oh.
It's
and
probably
how do I
moving
know
it, so.
that I'm getting in the right thing? Like in the future, do I
Go,
always have to go back?
bring up a browser window, no, bring up a new browser window,